All right, following Friday's sports wagering action, we're now 4-0 in our last 4 NBA tier package bets on Pt.2. And the link for today's NBA tier package bet is in the description section below. $1,000 bettors are now up over $3,600 during that span. Now, the NBA tier package is a membership that I offer on my website. And not only do you get access to my NBA tier package bet itself, but you're also going to get access to all of the lesser expensive packages on that webpage all the way through the end of February if you sign up for the NBA tier. Now, if you're not signed up for that, or if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to explain a little bit more about it in just a moment. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the video. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal bets on Pt.2, and I have packages on that website starting at just $1.99. Now, the purpose of these YouTube videos is to provide you with free informational sports betting content, and it's also designed to generate interest in signing up for a membership on my website. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my webpage. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on my website, well, I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and get into our part 2 video. I'll tell you what, we had a great run in our board member tier. Finally lost a game in that package last night. It was a great run, a lot of fun, a lot of money was made. Definitely one of those memorable runs we had in that board member tier. We had won 7 straight games in that package. That was it was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. It was a great bonding experience with my patrons on my website. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get into some free content. We're going to start with the Raptors taking on the Hawks. 7:30 Eastern tip-off on Saturday, February 26, 2022. Atlanta's -2.5 with a total at 226. Now, the Hawks have played some pretty good basketball at home this year. They've also got themselves a winning record against the point spread in the State Farm Arena. The Hawks have done a real nice job shooting the 3-ball in their own building. As a matter of fact, these guys are first in the NBA in offensive three-point percentage at home. Now, scoring-wise, Trae Young is averaging over 27.5 points a game, along with 3 rebounds and 9 assists. Meanwhile, Bogdan Bogdanovic is scoring over 13.5 points a game himself, along with 3 boards and 3 assists as well. And speaking of rebounds in this one, Atlanta finds themselves in the top 5 in the NBA in defensive boards at home. They're taking on a Toronto team who's in the second of a back-to-back here today, and they're coming fresh off an embarrassing 32-point loss to Charlotte just last night. Now, offensively, the Raptors, they've actually struggled shooting the basketball a bit this year. They're currently in the bottom 5 in the league in offensive field goal percentage. Meanwhile, defensively on the other end of the court, they've actually struggled a bit guarding the field goal on the road as well. These guys are currently in the bottom 10 in defensive field goal percentage when traveling. When it comes to head-to-head meetings between these two clubs, Toronto's allowed over 112 points a game in their last 10 meetings with Atlanta. Now, when it comes to the injury report, OG Anunoby, he's doubtful to play here this evening. Meanwhile, for Atlanta on the other side, Collins and Williams are still out for them. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, Atlanta went 6-3 to the over in their last 9 ball games. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with Toronto. Meanwhile, the Raptors on the other side of things, they saw overs recently with Houston, OKC, and Atlanta. I'm going to lean toward the Hawks -2.5 in the over 226. Next contest I have for you, it is going to be Wizards versus the Cavaliers, 8 p.m. Eastern start time. Cleveland's -7.5 with the total at 207. But despite laying a fairly substantial number here, Cleveland's on a 3-game losing streak. And they also failed to cover in 6 out of their last 10. Now, in addition to going to work without Rondo and LeVert, the Cavs are actually, unfortunately, going to have to play here tonight without their leading scorer, Darius Garland, as he's battling some back problems. So that's definitely going to hurt these guys offensively. And with that in mind, even when they're mostly healthy, the Cavs really don't score a whole lot of points. These guys are in the bottom 10 in offensive points per game. Now, these guys play some tough defense, but I tell you what, man, I really think that lack of offense is going to hurt them come playoff time. Now, they've also done a poor job of shooting from the stripe as well. They're taking on a Washington team who's beaten the likes of Detroit and Brooklyn twice recently. And as much as these guys have struggled this season, they're actually still doing a good job of shooting from mid-range. These guys are currently in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage. Now, Kyle Kuzma, he's scoring nearly 17 points a night, along with 8 rebounds and 3 assists. Meanwhile, KCP, he's averaging nearly a dozen points a game himself, and he's also doing a pretty nice job of shooting the 3 ball as well. And speaking of offensive production, the Wizards do like to score late in games. They tend to score a lot of their points in that final frame. These guys are currently in the top 10 in fourth quarter scoring on the road. Now, when it comes to the injury report, Kristaps Porzingis is questionable to play here tonight with a knee. When it comes to the total in this one, Washington saw unders recently with Indiana, Detroit, and Phoenix. They're also 16 and 12 to the under when traveling. Meanwhile, the Cavs on the other side of things, they are 20 and 7 to the under this year at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. And that's good for 74% in that category. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Washington plus 7.5 and the under 207. Next contest I have for you, it is going to be Nets versus the Bucks, 8:30 p.m. East. Milwaukee's minus 10.5, totals 237. But despite being the double-digit fave in this one, I do have concerns about Milwaukee covering this very large number. Now, for one, these guys failed to cover the point spread in their last 4 straight ball games. Actually, their last successful cover was against the Lakers all the way back on February 8th. Now, secondly, these guys are actually still a little bit banged up. Even coming, out of the All-Star break, Hill, Bembry, and Allen, they're all listed as questionable to play here today. And Connaughton, he's also still out. Now, when it comes to covering the number at home, well, the Bucks really haven't cashed many tickets in that particular category. These guys are just 11 and 20 against the spread at the Fiserv Forum, and they're in the bottom 10 in shooting from the field on their home court. Now, when it comes to defensive play, Milwaukee's also struggling to grab defensive boards at home as well. These guys are in the bottom 10 in defensive rebounding on their home court. Now, they're taking on a Brooklyn team who actually does play their best basketball on the road. I know they've been really bad over the past the past month or so, but they do still play their best basketball on the road. Matter of fact, these guys are actually in the top 5 in the NBA in road scoring. And when it comes to shooting the 3 ball, well, they actually shoot the 3 ball on the road better than anybody else in the NBA. Now, newcomer Seth Curry, he's drilling 47% of his three-pointers with his new team, 17 points a night. He's averaging through 4 games with the Nets. Meanwhile, Kyrie Irving, he's averaging over 24 points a game himself, along with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Needless to say, the Nets are also leading the entire NBA in offensive field goal percentage on the road. These guys are shooting lights out when they travel. Now, injury-wise, Durant, Harris, and Simmons, they're all still out indefinitely. Goran Dragic, he's also listed as questionable. When it comes to the total in this one, Brooklyn saw their last 3 straight get over the posted number. They also went 7-1 the over in their last 8. Meanwhile, Milwaukee saw their last 7 get over the posted total themselves. 9-1 to the over in their last 10 as well. I'm going to lean toward Brooklyn plus 10.5 in the over 237. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup of the show. It is going to be Kings versus the Nuggets, 9 o'clock Eastern start time. Denver's minus 7.5, totals 238. Now, the Nuggets won their last 4 straight, and they also went 6-1 against the spread in their last 7. Denver's also playing some pretty good basketball at home this year. These guys are 16 and 10 straight up in the Ball Arena. They're also in the top 3 in the NBA in shooting from the field. Nikola Jokic is averaging 26 points per contest, along with 13 boards and 7 assists. Meanwhile, Will Barton, he's scoring over 15.5 points a game himself, along with 5 rebounds and 3 assists as well. And speaking of rebounds, well, the Nuggets are currently in the top 5 in the nation in defensive boards per contest. Now, they're taking on a Sacramento team who, I really can't sugarcoat it, they've been terrible on the road this year. These guys got the W in just 7 out of 28 road games this season. And in addition to that, they're also amongst the worst in the NBA in points allowed per contest. Now, the Kings are giving up 118 points a game on the road this year. And in addition to that, they're actually letting their opponents make nearly 50% of their field goals against them in that very same category. Now, when it comes to the injury list, Davis is still out. Holmes is questionable. Meanwhile, for Denver on the other side, Najee is still listed as questionable with a hammy. And when it comes to the total in this one, Denver saw their last 3 straight get over the line. 5-2 to the over in their last 7. Meanwhile, Sacramento's 17-11 to the over when traveling themselves. They also went 80% to the over in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with Denver. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Nuggets minus 7.5 in the over 238. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind we utilize the Patreon platform. And the way that Patreon does their billing is they're going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on BrockPage.com, you're going to get access to those picks through the end of February. But I do always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. Probably your best value would be to wait until March 1st and, get the entire month there. But regardless, we are hot in many different packages, so it might be your best interest to sign up today and then just pay again on March 1st. It's your call. But regardless, guys, most importantly, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.